Hello and welcome to Pretty Good Gaming. My name's Mike Williams. I'm joined by Jake Kulkowski.
Hello.
We're talking about Star Wars Battlefront II today. We've both been playing the open beta. Well, it's not open yet, is it? But it is going to be open, I guess.
Yeah, we had the early access to it. So the beta is live today, and it's going to be live all weekend.
Yeah, and this is going to be a bit of just informational, I guess, but also impressions of what we've taken away from the beta so far, mainly how it compares to the original. Because that's the big question, I think. What we've gathered here is like a series of things that maybe is kind of worth knowing before going in. So let's start with the big one. Number one for me is that it is better than the first one. It is better than Star Wars Battlefront.
No punches for the first point.
Yeah, but when I say the first one, I mean the 2015 Star Wars Battlefront. I mean purely because it's got more maps, more eras, more modes. There's more things to do. There's more classes to choose. Well, there's classes to choose. The gameplay variety is much better. It seems like it's got a much better pair of legs this time around. So it's not like it's shallow as a puddle like the first game, which is an impression that you kind of got after like 10 minutes. This is actually pretty deep, and they've done some work here, and this feels like an actual game and an actual multiplayer that might have a lifespan, which is in drastic contrast to the first game. I don't know how much you agree with that, Jake.
I actually quite liked the first one, but it did feel like a bit of a tech demo. It felt like it was a trial of things to come, and the content was really lacking. There's almost as much content in the beta here than there was in the full game. There's a variety of maps and stuff. It's safe to say that if you download this, you'll have a real good feeling about what the full game is going to be like. Also, tapping into it, not it being better but being bigger, like even as far as the trailer went, they detailed all of the things that you're going to be getting in this game. So it's a lot more transparent this time. In terms of the gameplay, I mean, there's a lot more to it. You can have different classes, and there's these power classes, which is like you accumulate points when you're playing the game, and you can spend these points, and the points only last for the rounds that you're playing, so you can't bank them up over a week and then use them. And you can spend these points, which you get by killing the enemy team or playing the objective, on like these power classes, so the next time you die you can spawn in as maybe a bit of a special unit. So if you're a droid, you can spawn as like a battle droid with twin rocket launchers.
Super battle droid.
A super
battle droid.
You can even go as far as spawning as like a Wookiee, or even Han Solo, or even is it a spaceship? Because you're not in space.
Well,
you know what I'm about, don't you?
It's a starship, I think.
Yeah, okay, one of those.
Like fucking two Star Wars corrections in the space of a minute. What a loser I am. But you're definitely right about that. That adds so much to it, and they've balanced it pretty nicely. It's not like you're seeing Wookiees all over the place, like you could do in like the original Battlefront games, for example. This is like you might see one, and they'll be running around the map, and so it gives everyone a chance to try these things out without filling the map with them. And rather than focus on how annoyed you are that you've just died, you're kind of thinking about, all right, what am I going to do next? Like, what's my next job?
Okay, so I've got 1,000 points. Do I spend these 1,000 points to spawn in as a super battle droid, or do I bank them up and then eventually I'll get to play as Rey or Darth Maul or something? Of course, It gives you a little bit more control, because if you guys can remember in the first game, you'd have like randomly the little hero icon would spawn, and everyone in your team would stop playing the objective, stop killing anybody, and everyone would be scrambling, I want to be Luke Skywalker.
It was rubbish. In terms of balance, in terms of variety, in terms of offering to you as a player, of course there's a single player mode, but we can't really talk about that because it's not included in the beta. But there is more of a game here this time around, and there is strong evidence of that in the beta. So that's definitely worth mentioning. So on to number two. It's just really that the gameplay is a completely different beast. So this is just building on what we've just been talking about, I guess. It just feels deeper. Playing as those classes, you can play as a sniper, and that's something that you were doing.
Yeah, I loved it. The first game I jumped into, I couldn't believe my luck. And you can shoot them from well far away, and they're all scrambling around as assault.
No waiting for purple ammo or anything like that. Destiny.
None of that messing about. I could just get in there straight away, start taking heads. Now, each class has its own abilities, 3 of them to be precise. You've got like kind of your super ability, and then you've got a couple of others. So, for example, the specialist, who's the sniper class, you can like use these thermal binoculars, which is kind of like X-ray vision. You can see through the walls, and you can see where the enemies are, so then you can get yourself into a good position.
But crucially, only while you've got these binoculars out, equipped, and in your eyes.
Exactly, so you can't hold your gun at the same time, so you literally have to toggle, like you're aiming down a scope, right? You've also got a grenade. Your special ability is you can go temporarily invisible to the enemy's radar, and and stealth around. Yeah.
So there you go. So the heavy is what I was focused on. It's like dominating areas, dominating corridors. So you can activate a little shield that will deflect laser fire in front of you directly. You can kind of, your big super ability is kind of straddling and taking on this Gatling gun kind of mode, pouring out gunfire and quite accurate as well for a long range. But you can barely move while you do it. So it's like defending doorways, defending choke points, and if there's groups of enemies that you know are hanging around, then you can clear them out with this single-handedly, and that's just a normal class ability. But you know, again, balanced quite nicely. You've got to wait for it once you activate it. You've got to wait quite a while before you can activate it again. You're quite vulnerable when you're using it if someone's behind you or to the flanks, because you can you know, it's quite hard to maneuver. It's all about pouring fire in one direction. So I also played a bit of assault, which is kind of just standard.
You're running gun kind of.
Yeah,
you know.
But again, quite a powerful assault rifle, and then they've got their kind of shotgun type thing, I guess. That's their super ability, which is very, very powerful. But you know, you have to be pretty close to them, I guess. If you know how to use it, you could be pretty deadly with that class. And finally, there's like this officer, which I used a little bit, and that's like buffing your teammates.
Yeah, kind of support kind of character, isn't it? It comes with a pistol.
Yeah,
they all feel. This is when you know this is when you know that the game is kind of balanced. It's like every class feels overpowered, and then you realize, hang on, they're all overpowered, so they're all balanced.
So point number 3, this one is very specific to the beta, I guess. You can do more than just play the big mode. So there's a big Galactic Assault mode, which is a multi-stage kind of bigger, large-scale battle on Naboo, and it's kind of like, well, when I say kind of like, it's exactly like Walker Assault from Star Wars Battlefront, the 2015 version, but with a bit more added to it. There's a bit more flavour to it,
and no Walker.
Walker, more of a very, very slow and impractical tank. Which
it looks like a slug.
If we're gonna get into impracticalities, what's a Walker? Like what?
Yeah,
that's a seriously impractical vehicle. Anyway, so that you can do that, and that is the centerpiece of the beta, I guess. But there's also Starfighter Assault, which takes the battle out into space, because there are space battles this time around, and that's pretty cool. The first thing you should do is deactivate roll. Right, go into the menus and deactivate roll, because it is terrible. It does like this automatic rolling thing for you, which kind of matches it up to the horizon. But what that means is you might be flying upside down a lot of the time, and you have very little control over it. So you can change it so it's completely manual, which is also difficult. So the best bet is to just switch it off, which takes it a little bit closer to what it was like in the original one.
Like that.
So that's my top tip for that. But there's space battles in it. Starfighter Assault, you can sample some of that. And then there's Strike, which is a smaller scale infantry only combat thing.
That's right. No like AT-ATs or AT-STs so you can walk through things.
No heroes even.
Exactly.
Nothing like that.
It's just small, kind of a little bit more claustrophobic, a little bit tighter gameplay.
It's like 16 players or something like that, I think. But it's still objective based though, so there's still things to do. It's not just a deathmatch, which is cool. And finally, there's arcade, which is quite nice. And I feel like there could be a lot to this in the full game, where you've got 1 or 2 players, and it just gives you different challenges, like holding off waves or kind of.
Yeah, the first game had that too, right? And it was.
There's quite a decent list this time around.
Feels a bit more fleshed out. Yeah, so I mean, they all seem to be kind of changes on the first game.
Yeah, that's right.
The space battles is just exactly like the battles from last time, but in space. I felt like it handled the same, and I was playing it the same way I did last time. And I didn't feel like there was that much difference apart from the environment. In case people were wondering how different is it.
So there's lots of modes, and that's a big thing to bear in mind. You don't just have to play Galactic Assault. So number 4, John Boyega is on board this time around.
It's made the list.
Which is news, because John Boyega wasn't entirely a fan of the 2015 one. He tweeted at EA saying like, chuck a story mode in there or something. And so EA have kind of bear hugged him, and he's like front and center of the marketing this time around.
Oh yeah.
He's the first thing you see when you fire up the beta, pretty much. He's got, they've checked the trailer at the beginning, and so he's obviously been converted, or he's been paid enough to be converted.
Yeah, exactly. He's been coinverted.
Yeah, so
I think if I made that up, I'll trademark that word right now.
Coinverted. They really, really want you to know that this one is a proper game. This one has a single player mode. This one has a lot of modes. This one has depth to it. But he is like the figurehead of that.
It's a star power joke somewhere, isn't there?
Yeah, exactly. Let's move on. Number 5. Now here's the big one. The microtransactions are kind of bollocks, right? It's just.
If Gaz was here, he'd be very cross that you've said kind of.
Oh, I find microtransactions so boring, right? I find the whole loot crate thing intensely boring. I don't want it in my face. Just the fact that it's part of the process of playing a game is
first thing you see when you load the beta, isn't it?
Exactly, yeah.
You've got some crates, open them now.
Exactly. I think it is kind of ingrained into the gameplay a little bit as well, with the card powers and all that kind of stuff.
Well, yeah, let me go back to what I was saying earlier then, which we were alluding to a little bit. You can earn credits, the bullshit currency, and then you can unlock these loot crates, and you might find some real currency in there. They look like little gears. I can't remember their actual name, right? But I got like 40 in one. Yeah. To get this gun I was on about, I needed 600. Lucky for me, I got it in the loot crate. If I didn't get it in there, I would have had to spend another, 15 hours on the game just to get this gun.
The sooner these things fuck off out of everything, the better. I strongly dislike it.
Because imagine, like I'm saying now, imagine you play the same class as me, and I'm like, oh man, I got this gun, and you're like thinking to yourself, fucking Jake's got this fucking gun. Yeah. Stupid loot crates. I hate loot crates anyway. And it's just like that, it excludes your friends. It doesn't make you feel very good about yourself.
To me, it's just the fact that they expect you to be excited about it. It's the most boring, inane shit ever. Like just pressing X, watching a fucking animation of the crate being unfurled, and then, oh, you've got 3 cards. What are they? Press X, X, X. Now, Gaz pointed out to me in the office that you can do all of them at once. Like
you can bash the button on the PlayStation.
Yeah, and you can do them in bulk, which is like fantastic.
The fact that they give that option is the fact that they know it is an ancient.
They've still animated it. They've still tried to inject that like tension and excitement to it. It's
like
gambling.
Watching the slot machine roll.
It's exactly that.
On the cherry, the 7, whatever.
It's exactly that. The only reason this is in any way accepted is because of things like CS:GO Lotto, where millions and millions of gamers have watched their favorite Twitch streamer or YouTuber opening these things and pretending that they're really excited about what they found inside, and then that kind of resonates, and everyone's like, oh yeah, these things are exciting. Well, they're fucking not.
Yeah, so big thanks to all the predatory, brainwashing influencer bastards out there, ruining everything. So you're all pricks.
We've had some brief notes.
We've had some word from upstairs
from Gareth in the office, who just kind of wanted to just point a few.
Gareth couldn't make it to this video, but he's left us with some notes.
He's left us what looks like.
It's like when someone can't accept their Oscar.
Yes, it does. Yeah, it's. I'll read out some of it.
We'll put it on the screen right now for anyone that wants to pause the video and read the words.
The manifesto. The intro video includes a glaring apology for the lack of content in the first game. Big Johnny B, who's John Boyega, who voices the video, actually shows a comparison chart. A fucking chart of the difference in the amount of locations, heroes between the original and sequel. We get it. You fucked up by not having enough content in the first game. You don't deserve any credit for making a full game this time around. Okay, so there's some scene setting there. That ain't nothing yet.
This is the prologue.
Exactly. This is just getting you in a mood. So let's try this bit. Having sat through what amounts to the sales pitch of an intro video, it's time to get playing the game, right? No, it's actually time to introduce you to the loot crate system. They haven't even got the decency to allow you to interact with the menu screen before slapping you in the face with this shit. It's an obvious attempt to desensitize you to the bullshittery that the game is laden with. So there are some strong feelings about this in the office. For me, it's a matter of being bored. Gareth is obviously very angry about it.
It's just a video game boner killer. I was excited to play Star Wars, and then I'm not excited that I can't level up like a normal fucking human being. I used to think skill trees are getting quite saturated. Give me a skill tree again. If you want to read this whole guy, it's funny, right? The last 5 words are fuck off, Battlefront 2. It's a game, it's got a lot of content to offer, but it's hidden behind too many variables. I don't like adding these variables. Why give players the choice to pick what Super Trooper they want to play as, but then take that choice away and take that power and control away by adding a randomly generated loot crate system. Wow. No one wants that in a game that relies on your skill.
Let me just kind of pick another thing out that Gareth said here, which is exactly what you were talking about then. EA points out that it's not pay to win, that it's actually accelerating rewards. But if you think about what are you being rewarded for? Killing people. Therefore, accelerating the rewards is exactly the same as accelerating the killing. In other words, paying to win, and that's exactly right, isn't it? It's speed. What is the reward if not speeding up the fucking death process?
He ends every paragraph with "f*** off."
But that's the point that Gareth's making here. Is like, what is the reward that you get? Something that helps you kill people faster and easier. So it's still pay. It's still in essence pay to win. I think people get confused. Well, it's not confused. I mean, it's just what your interpretation of pay to win is. It's either you have to pay in order to be successful, or you can pay to get an advantage. To me, both of those are pay to win.
Like, let's go back to like Farmville or Simpsons Tapped Out. You wait 24 hours to make a turn. Are you going to defend it if you could make one turn every 5 years? because technically you don't have to pay. You could wait 5 years. So how long are you going to defend this shit without realizing you just look like a fucking knobhead?
All right then. Let's move on to the final point. Ultimately, despite everything we've just been talking about with the microtransactions, it is worth your time because it's free, right? So it is a beta. Check it out. Educate yourself. Just, stay skeptical, I guess. I mean, you don't get kind of hypnotized by all the bright colors and things, whatever, without considering what else it's putting in your face. It's putting, slot machine in your face as well as a cool Star Wars Battlefront experience, which is a damn shame because there's good stuff here. It's an improvement on the original. There's depth here. I could see myself playing it for a while, but the microtransactions are boring as
Exactly. So all you're doing really, if you've got unlimited internet bandwidth anyway, all it's going to take is a couple of hours for you to test it out. And at least then, if you are going to hate on the game, at least you can sound educated.
At least you know what you're talking about. Because it's a chunky beta. There's plenty there for you to bin to. You will get a good sense of what the final game will be like, at least on the multiplayer front. So let me just repeat then. The Star Wars Battlefront 2's open beta is already started today. By the time this video goes out, I guess it's 1 a.m. Pacific. It went live, I think, on Xbox One, PS4 and PC. All you got to do is just go to the platform of your choice, download it, and away you go. I think it's on Origin on PC, of course, because it's EA. The full game comes out on November 17th for PC, PS4 and Xbox One. I've been Mike Williams, joined by Jay Kulkowski. We'll see you next time.